Extended documentary script. English. Title: Flight 570. 1. The Survivors of the Andes Miracle. It was October 13th, 1972. A plane of the Uruguayan Air Force lifted off from Montevideo, carrying 45 people on board. Among them were the Old Christians, rugby team, their friends and families. Their destination was Santiago, Chile. To them, it was supposed to be just another game, just another trip. But this journey would become one of the most shocking survival stories in modern history. The flight began normally. Laughter filled the cabin, young athletes joked about the upcoming match, and spirits were high. But the Andes Mountains are not forgiving. Known as the Death Mountains to local pilots, this treacherous range has claimed countless lives. The pilots of Flight 571 attempted to cross in poor weather conditions, relying on limited instruments. A single navigational error proved fatal. As the plane descended through heavy clouds, the passengers suddenly saw something horrifying through the windows, towering, snow-covered mountains rushing toward them. The plane clipped the side of a peak, tearing off its wings. The fuselage broke apart violently, sliding down a glacier before finally coming to rest in the freezing wilderness. The silence after the crash was deafening. Of the 45 people aboard, 12 died instantly. Others were critically injured. The survivors, stunned and shivering, quickly realized they were stranded in one of the most hostile environments on Earth, nearly 0 feet above sea level, with nothing but snow and ice for miles. At first, they believed rescue would come quickly. Surely, they thought, the world knew of the crash. They rationed the little food they had, a few chocolate bars, some wine, and whatever scraps they could find. But days passed, and no helicopters appeared in the skies above. Unknown to them, the search had been called off after only 8 days. Officials believed no one could possibly have survived. Hunger gnawed at their bodies, and the freezing winds cut through their makeshift clothing. As days turned into weeks, they faced a terrifying reality. There was no food left. Surrounded by snow and the bodies of their friends, they confronted an unthinkable decision. To live, they would have to feed on the frozen remains of those who had died in the crash. For many, this was a moral and spiritual nightmare. Raised in Catholic families, the idea felt like a sin. But hunger is stronger than faith. Eventually, with prayers and tears, they convinced themselves they were not desecrating their friends, but keeping their spirits alive within them. This decision, as horrifying as it was, gave them the strength to continue. But the nightmare was far from over. On the 17th day, an avalanche buried the broken fuselage where they sheltered, killing 8 more people in an instant. Those who survived clawed their way out of the snow, but their hope was fading. The mountains seemed endless, the cold unbearable. Then came the moment of courage. 2 survivors, Fernando Parado and Roberto Canessa, decided that if they didn't act, everyone would die. With makeshift gear, wrapped in layers of clothes made from airplane seat covers, they prepared for the impossible, a trek through the Andes. For 10 days, they climbed icy peaks, crossed valleys of snow, and endured starvation. Their feet bled, their lips cracked, and exhaustion pushed them to the edge of death. But finally, on the 10th day, they spotted signs of life, cattle, and then a river where they encountered a Chilean shepherd. Civilization was within reach. The shepherd alerted authorities, and soon, helicopters returned to the crash site. On December 23rd, 1,972 days after the crash, the last of the survivors were rescued. Out of 45 passengers, only 16 had lived. The world was shocked when the truth of their survival came out. Many judged them for what they had done in order to live, but others called it a miracle of endurance. Today, the Andes miracle remains a haunting reminder of the extremes of human survival. This story is not just about tragedy. It is about courage, resilience, and the will to cling to life against all odds. And even now, more than 50 years later, one question continues to echo in our minds. If it had been us, what would we have done?